Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Corky and the Little House That Knew His Name. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. The little house was not special in the way people usually mean when they say that word. It did not have wide windows with elegant curtains, nor a garden filled with flowers that bloomed on command. It was small, slightly crowded, and carried the quiet marks of everyday living, scratches on the doorframe, a table that wobbled just a little, and a couch that had clearly lost the battle with time. But to Corky, this house was everything. Every morning began the same way. Before the alarm clock dared to make a sound, Corky was already awake. He lay curled near the foot of the bed, ears twitching at the soft hum of the city outside. The moment he sensed movement, just the slightest shift of weight from under the blanket, his tail began to wag, slow at first, then faster, as if warming up for the day. Corky never jumped on the bed. He had learned, through patience rather than training, that mornings were gentle things. Instead, he rested his chin on the edge of the mattress, eyes wide and hopeful, waiting for permission that was never spoken but always understood. When the blanket finally moved aside and a sleepy hand reached down, Corky sighed deeply, the kind of sigh that said, "Yes, this is exactly where I belong." The floor of the house creaked softly as Corky followed his human to the kitchen. He knew every sound the house made. He knew which floorboards squeaked near the sink and which one stayed silent near the window. His paws navigated the space like memory itself, never rushing, never hesitant. Breakfast was simple. For the human, it was toast and coffee. For Corky, it was his bowl, placed carefully in the same corner every day. Corky sat before it, tail tapping lightly against the wall, waiting. He never ate until he was told he could. It wasn't obedience, it was trust. He trusted that the moment would come, just as it always had. After breakfast, Corky made his rounds. He checked the front door, sniffed the edge of the couch, and inspected the window where sunlight pooled like warm water. This was not curiosity, it was reassurance. He was reminding himself that everything was where it should be. The little house held their routines like a quiet promise. In its narrow hallways and familiar corners, Corky learned that happiness did not need space. It needed consistency, kindness, and the feeling of being seen. By afternoon, the house slowed down. The world outside buzzed with traffic and voices, but inside, time seemed to stretch and soften. Corky loved this part of the day most. He chose his spot carefully. Sometimes it was the patch of sunlight near the window. Other times, it was beside the desk, where his human worked quietly, fingers tapping on keys. Corky did not demand attention. He simply existed nearby, close enough to feel connected, far enough to respect the silence. When the human sighed, those long, tired sighs that came from staring at a screen too long, Corky noticed. He always noticed. He would lift his head, ears angled just right, eyes filled with concern. Sometimes that was enough. Sometimes he walked over and rested his head against a knee, offering comfort without words. The house remembered these moments. It absorbed them. The worn carpet beneath Corky's paws became a witness to every unspoken exchange. The walls learned the rhythm of their days. Busy mornings, quiet afternoons, gentle evenings. Corky had habits that made the house feel alive. He barked softly at reflections in the mirror, not out of fear but confusion, as if greeting an old friend who never responded. He carried his favorite toy from room to room, placing it carefully in spots where memories lingered, near the door where he was first welcomed home, beside the couch where he once fell asleep mid-play. In the afternoon, sometimes the human sat on the floor. That was Corky's invitation. He would circle once, twice, then collapse dramatically into their lap, all weight and warmth and trust. The house held them in that moment, quiet and complete. It was during these afternoons that Corky taught something important without ever trying. He taught that presence mattered more than productivity. That rest was not wasted time. That being together, even in silence, could heal parts of the heart we didn't know were tired. As evening arrived, the little house glowed softly under warm lights. Corky curled up near the door, waiting, not because he expected anything to happen, but because waiting itself had become a shared ritual. When the day finally ended, the house felt fuller, as if gratitude had quietly settled into its corners. Corky and his little house remind us of something deeply important in modern life. Happiness does not always come from change, growth, or constant motion. Sometimes, happiness lives in repetition, familiarity, and shared space. In a world that urges us to move faster, do more, and reach higher, animals like Corky gently invite us to slow down and notice what is already enough. From Corky, we learn patience, how to wait without anxiety. We learn presence, how to sit beside someone without needing to fix them. We learn gratitude, not for grand achievements, but for warm floors, quiet afternoons, and the comfort of returning home. To apply this lesson in our own lives, we can start small. Create routines that bring calm instead of pressure. Spend time with loved ones, human or animal, without distractions. Listen more, rush less, and allow stillness to exist without guilt. The bond between humans and animals thrives not on words, but on care, respect, and shared moments. Like Corky and his little house, when we nurture these bonds, we build a life that feels safe, meaningful, and deeply alive.